All right, what's up, guys? Today I'm back with another tier list. Today we're going to be ranking the top 15 lightweights outside of Max Holloway because he's fighting back at featherweight. But we're going to be ranking the top 15 lightweights in the tier list. Obviously, we got the best, the A, elite, solid, and not good. So let's get right into it. Starting out with Benoit Saint Denis, dude. I'm sorry, but I got to put Benoit in the not good tier. A lot of people are going to disagree. They're going to be like recency bias because he just lost to Poirier and got destroyed by Moicano. But dude, Benoit is a perfect example of only training MMA for the last 6 years. It's not enough. Whenever you're going to get to the UFC and you're fighting the top dogs, he's just, I don't know, his striking is very sloppy. He has good judo, but his grappling defense isn't the best. He doesn't move his head, and he's slow. I don't know what else to say about Benoit. I've always kind of thought he was overrated. People said this guy was going straight to championship status. Now they're even questioning if he can beat a top 15 lightweight. But yeah, I got to put Benoit in the not good tier. He got exposed his last 2 fights. So maybe he can go up to solid if he wins like his next 2 or 3 fights. We'll see. But let's move on to the next fighter. Rafael Fiziev. I'm putting Fiziev in the solid tier. Fiziev's... Again, I think his striking is a bit overrated. People act like this guy's like knocking everybody unconscious. I mean, he was getting outstruck by Gamrot, and then he blew out his knee. He got pieced up by Justin Gaethje. Close fight, but Justin Gaethje pieced this guy up and tore up his face. And then, yeah. So I think Fiziev is his striking has definitely been overrated. And I think he's a bit small for the lightweight division, so... In the solid tier he goes. He's a solid lightweight, but he's not elite. I wouldn't say he's up there in the upper half. He's got some work to do. But yeah, that's my opinion on him. Let's move on to another guy in Dustin Poirier. Give me Dustin Poirier in the elite tier. Bro, you know what? I'm going to put some respect on Dustin. Put Dustin in the A tier. He just went toe-to-toe with Islam Makhachev for 5 rounds. Arguably looked the best he's ever looked. His takedown defense was improved. His striking look improved. He did lose the fight and get submitted in the 5th, but that was one of the best Dustin Poiriers we've seen, and he was coming off a KO over Benoit Saint Denis after losing to Justin Gaethje, so he proved he still had it. And yeah, Dustin Poirier has been fighting at the top of the lightweight division forever, but he's climbed to the top a few times, and he's lost every time he's gotten to championship status, but I think he's just, man, if there was no such thing as a Charles, Khabib, or Islam, then Dustin Poirier would have reached the pinnacle of the sport, the undisputed champion, but unfortunately, those fighters did exist, so he didn't. So I'm putting Dustin in the A tier just off of his last performance and how he looked recently. So yeah, let's move on to Dan Hooker. Now, dude, I'm putting Dan Hooker in the solid tier. Listen, I know Dan Hooker is in the top 5, but bro just fluked his way to the top 5 with a split decision win over Jalen Turner and a split decision win over freaking Gamrot. Dan Hooker, if he fights, I wouldn't be surprised if anybody in the top 10 can beat Dan Hooker. No disrespect to Dan Hooker. Tattoo Dan Hooker's a mythical fighter, but he's not good, dude. Like Dan Hooker, he's good, but he's not. He might be the worst top 5 fighter in the UFC or ever. Like, good grief. I would pick him to beat Conor McGregor though. Fair play, but yeah, Dan Hooker in the solid tier. I can't put him any higher than that. I think he loses his next fight regardless of who it's against. And yeah, let's move on. Justin Gaethje. I'm putting Justin Gaethje in the elite tier. Now, listen, I already know what you're going to say. Justin Gaethje in the elite tier, but Dustin Poirier in the A tier, and Gaethje KO'd Poirier. Yeah, I get it, dude, but when we're talking about all-around skills and well-roundedness, Justin Gaethje isn't well-rounded. He has 0 ground game. He has no submissions. He literally has hooks and dangerous striking. That's it. So if we're talking about the top of the lightweight division and the danger he proposes to the champion, I just don't see it, man. He's elite. Justin Gaethje will always, as long as he's fighting, will be a top 7, top 5 fighter in the UFC. But, dude, he just got absolutely masterclassed on by Max Holloway. And, yes, I know, like I said, he knocked out Dustin Poirier, so to have Poirier in the A tier and him in the elite tier. But we're talking about how good are they overall. And overall, Justin Gaethje he's not well-rounded. So I can't put him in the A tier because he's not good enough to be in the A tier. So, yeah, Justin Gaethje in the elite tier. That's what it is, dude. If you don't like it, let me know in the comments. Go ahead and call me a casual, but let's move on to the next person. Michael Chandler. I'm gonna put Michael Chandler in the dude. I'm putting Michael Chandler in the not good tier, dude. I'm sorry. He's 2-3 in the UFC. He waited on a Conor McGregor fight for 2 years. He KO'd Dan Hooker in his debut, and he knocked out Tony Ferguson. That's his only 2 wins in the UFC. He has low fight IQ. He got schooled by Justin Gaethje. He got submitted by Dustin Poirier. He got knocked out by Charles Oliveira. Like, Michael Chandler just isn't good. He's okay, but the fact that he's number 6 in the lightweight division is a disgrace. He should be like number 13 right now. I get it. They kept him number 6, so if he fought Conor and Conor beat him, Conor can go up to the number 6 spot, and then they can argue him for a title shot. I get it, but Iron Mike, he just ain't good. If he beats Charles Oliveira in December, then maybe we can talk about Michael Chandler going up to solid. But, dude, with that fight IQ, there's no way I could put you in the solid or elite tier. I just can't do it. People will disagree and tell me that Michael Chandler goes in the higher tier. He's like, dude, he's number 6 in the division. How can he be not good? Bro, he's 2-3 in the UFC, and he has low fight IQ. What else is there to say? Let's move on. Next fighter, Charles Oliveira. I'm putting in the A tier. Charles, look, listen. I know he just lost to Arman, but who knows what would happen if they had a 4th and 5th round, and he could lock up that submission a little bit longer. Yes, recently Charles has been a little underwhelming, but when we talk about well-roundedness, he has amazing striking. He has good forward pressure. Some of the best grappling in the entire UFC. Most submissions in UFC history. One of the most entertaining title runs in UFC history. So, got to put my man Charles in the A tier. He submitted Dustin Poirier. He submitted Justin Gaethje. At one point, Charles Oliveira had beat everybody in the top 5 outside of Islam Makhachev. Yes, I know he got beat up by Islam Makhachev and submitted. I get it. But I got to put Charles in the A tier. He's amazing. One of the best fighters ever in the lightweight division. If there wasn't a Habib or Islam, he'd be the greatest lightweight in history right now. But there is, so got to put Charles in the A tier. He's dangerous every fight. Can't wait to see him in the Chandler fight. I think he's going to steamroll Chandler and knock him out or submit him. So let's see. Let's move on to Jalen Turner. Dude, I'm sorry, dude. Jalen Turner? Dude, I got to put Jalen Turner in the not good tier. I can't put him higher than that. Like, I don't know what else to say. Jalen Turner, he's not good. He showed low fight IQ against Moicano because, and the reason I say he showed low fight IQ is because he had him knocked down, tried to be Mr. Cool Guy and go for a walk-off highlight finish, and he blew it. He lost the fight because of it and got TKO'd, I think, in the 2nd round. Jalen Turner's been overrated because, he submitted Brad Riddell and knocked out who? Jamie Malarkey? Big whoop. Who hasn't knocked out Jamie Malarkey and submitted Brad, the wannabe kickboxer Riddell? But yeah, Jalen the Tarantula, weight bully Turner, 6'3", fighting the lightweight division. He's not good. I wouldn't even say he's solid. He can't be solid, so, because he's losing against Dan Hooker and fucking, no, I'm not going to say he's losing against Moicano because Moicano is actually really good. But yeah, Jalen Turner has a lot to prove. He was a little overrated. I got to put him in the not good tier for now. I'm probably going to get a lot of comments saying, bro, Jalen Turner's not good. You're a casual. Like, he's in the top 15. Like, dude, listen. You can be in the top 15 and not be good. Like, I'm sorry. And yes, you can have the take that everybody in the UFC is good, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about within the UFC compared to the other fighters, how good are they? And Jalen Turner's just not good right now, so I'm sticking to that. Moving right along. Give me RDA. Dude, listen. Oh, man. At the current state in his career, I'm going to put RDA in the solid tier. RDA is probably not ever going to fight at lightweight against. I don't even know why I'm including him in this video, but even at 38 years old, RDA is probably still solid. I think RDA can beat Dan Hooker, which would be hilarious to see him in the top 5. He went to the 5th round with Fiziev and got finished, but I still think RDA has always been a solid. He used to be elite, and maybe he was even the best at one point. He was the best. He was the champion, but he kind of lost too many fights. But dude, look at RDA's schedule over his career. He's had one of the toughest run of fighting fighters ever in the UFC. Like, his strength of schedule in the UFC has always been insane. He fights the best fighters, and even when he comes up short, he keeps going. So, but we're talking about the current state of their career. Can't stress that enough. So don't go run into the comments saying, bro, you're a casual. RDA is elite. Like, bro, how is he right now? RDA right now, he's solid, you know? I think he can beat Dan Hooker. He's solid. But I don't think he can beat the guys above him. Let's move on to another fighter in Beneil Dariush. Now, Beneil Dariush was elite, but bro, after his recent performances, I got to slide him down to the solid tier. He's not elite anymore, bro. He was, but he's getting chinned by Arman. He's getting chinned by Charles. He beat Gamrot, but that was way back in the day, like a couple years ago. At this point in his career, I think Beneil's 35 years old. He's not getting any younger. Let's see how he does in his next fight. But, dude, to see him go out like that with 2 back-to-back knockouts, Beneil probably could still beat some people in the top 15. Maybe. Like I said, he can maybe beat a Dan Hooker. Maybe he can beat a Jalen Turner. I think he can give Benoit Saint Denis a run for his money. Michael Chandler probably knocks him out off of sheer just athleticism, but yeah, Beneil in the solid tier. Maybe you could put him in not good at this point, but I would have given him some respect and put him in the solid tier. Let's move on. Oh boy, Renato Moicano. Bro, I'm putting Renato in the elite tier, bro. After what he did to Benoit and the way he's looked recently, bro, Moicano cannot afford to lose. And I'm putting him elite. I don't care if he's not in the top 10, bro. He's elite. He's proven it. He's got striking. Look what he did to Benoit Saint Denis with a shredded shoulder. Like, I don't know what else you want me to say. Yes, I think Moicano is better than Fiziev. Yes, I think he's better than Dariush. Like, that's just my opinion. Go ahead and call me a casual. Moicano is better than Rafael Fiziev. I don't care if you disagree with it. Look at their recent performances, and you'll see that. Fiziev, he ain't been all that. He was getting outstruck by Gamrot before he blew out his knee. Then he got pieced up by Justin Gaethje. Fiziev's a little overrated, bro. So I'm putting Moicano. I think Moicano's elite. I think he's going to go up there and he's going to I think he's going to bust up Dan Hooker and get a top and end up in the top 5 if they fight next. That's my opinion. So let's move on to the next fighter. Bro, Paddy Pimblett. I'm putting Paddy in the solid tier. Now, Paddy Pimblett was in the not good tier, but recently with a win over Bobby Green, I got to put Paddy Pimblett in the solid tier. He's solid. He ain't the best. I still think he's overrated. People act like just because he submitted Bobby Green that he's the cream of the crop now. But let's not forget that he just lost to Jared Gordon like what, a year and a half ago. Like, bro, I'm not gonna forget that. And if Paddy Pimblett beats Moicano, I'll put him in the lead. He'll earn my respect. But I don't think that happens. I think Paddy Pimblett loses to most people in the top 15. Maybe he could beat Dan Hooker, and he could beat RDA, and probably at this point beat Benoit Saint Denis. But I think he loses to most of the top 15. Some people talking about Paddy going on a title run. Dude, pipe down. Paddy is not going on no title run. Let's remember, he beat fucking Bobby Green, dude. He didn't beat Islam Makhachev. He beat Bobby Green, who's 37 and getting KO'd every fight. So him sleeping Bobby Green with a choke is not that impressive. Like, I'm sorry. Yes, Paddy looked amazing in his last fight. But let's not pretend like he's elite or A tier all of a sudden. He's still solid. So I don't care. That's my opinion. Let's move on. Arman Tsaryukan. I'm putting Arman in the A tier. I'm putting Arman in the top of A tier. Arman in the top of A tier. I think he's amazing. I think he's the second best lightweight in the world right now outside of Islam Makhachev. Obviously, he's going to fight Makhachev in December, but I don't think he beats Makhachev. Arman's good, but I just feel like Makhachev is a better version of Arman. He has better striking. He has more dangerous grappling. I think he has better control. Like, everything Makhachev does, everything Arman does, Makhachev does better. That's what I think. I don't see how you can argue otherwise. So I'm putting Arman in the A tier. And if you disagree, bro, you're just wrong. He ain't the best. So I'm putting him in the A tier. Nah, dude, Arman's good. He's the best. He's number 1 contender for a reason. He beat Charles. I think he would beat everybody in this list aside from Makhachev, honestly. So, yeah. Let's move on to Gamrot. I'm putting Gamrot in the solid tier, bro. Gamrot's in the solid tier. Listen, bro, Scamrot almost scammed his way to a title shot. He should have got a title shot against Makhachev when he was the backup fighter, but they gave it to Volk on short notice. So rest in peace to my boy Gamrot's title shot, even though I think Makhachev would have smoked him. But he has no threat. He has no really great submissions. He's just, like, he was touted as like this jiu-jitsu guy, but like, bro, his grappling and jiu-jitsu isn't all that in a bag of chips. Like, it just isn't. Gamrot, he has decent striking, he has decent jiu-jitsu and grappling, but who's the last person he submitted? Jeremy fucking Stevens? And then he just lost to who? Who did Gamrot lose to? He lost to Dan Hooker. Bro, if that don't... Gamrot lost to fucking Dan Hooker. We live in a world where Dan Hooker, the turtle in the tree, is in the top 5. What are we doing? Either way, let's move on to the champion. Obviously the best, Islam Makhachev. It's not even close. I guess you could say it's maybe a little close with Arman, but I think Islam is the best. He's the best fighter in the whole UFC right now, skill for skill. I think there's nobody better. Some of the best striking in the UFC. Some of the best grappling in the UFC. You put him up there in like the top 5 grapplers in the UFC easily. But Islam's become a well-rounded fighter, and yeah, I don't think anybody at lightweight is going to beat Islam. I think if he loses, it'll be if he goes up for double champ status, which he's not going to do now because Bilal is the champion they train together. So, yeah, Islam, and obviously the best here. He's the best lightweight, the best pound-for-pound #1 fighter in the world, not John Jones. But, yeah, here's the list of top 15 lightweights that I'm ranking. Let me know if you agree or disagree. I feel like some people are going to call me a casual for putting Moicano in the elite tier because he beat BSD, who I said is not good, and he beat Jalen Turner, who I said that's not good. But, bro, just looking off his skills and his grappling and the damage he's putting out, I got to put Moicano in the elite tier. And same thing with Gaethje. But let me know if you agree or disagree. Where would you move some fighters in this list? And, yeah, that's it for the video, guys. Catch y'all later. Peace.